Monday in the week, so we are back. This time we are returning to Infinite Crisis, which we checked out just after they relaunched, or I should say they launched, dropping beta tag and all that kind of stuff shortly after PAX East. And we are back in the game. We played quite a bit in beta. Obviously, we went through some resets and all that kind of stuff. And I'm back in it again here today. It is part of our current MOBA rotation. And as you can tell by the headline, there are still some concerns that I have, and I've talked with some of the other players of MOBAs in the Lorehound community, that they have as well. And you know, definitely Infinite Crisis, which is made by Turbine Entertainment, made a huge change midstream of development of the game back in 2014, towards the end of the summer. I think it was June, so almost a year now. I guess that's not the end of the summer, if that's accurate. Anyways, so in 2014, they went kind of back to the drawing board, refocused and rehoned what they were trying to do to emphasize Infinite Crisis' unique, opportunities. Its diversification in the gameplay that has come to be known as the MOBA genre and really exploded over the last couple of years. And while they've definitely done that, there's still a lot in the general gameplay that is very reminiscent of MOBAs out there, and they're not the only ones by any means. There are a lot of MOBAs of this style that play in very familiar ways. Of course, having such a unique universe like DC, the DC Extended Universe, is an opportunity. That is something that should be further mined and further used, not just in the Infinite Crisis story mode, but to me, like actually building upon it in some capacity where you get more of these story elements rather than simply static storytelling or just getting a different map, or sorry, not a different map, a different skin and a little different tweak on that same hero, such as the variety of Supermans or the variety of Batmans and certainly the variety of Jokers that are in the game already. And they have reined that in even as well, changing those kits and only delivering certain choices from them. Which at the same time, when they kind of rebooted the game, they toned down the champions to be as you see, there's still a lot of Batman, still a lot of certain characters, but a better breadth. Some of the other things, that I'm looking for them to do, which may or may not come in the future. Obviously, this is really conjecture and just things we'd want to see changed or updated, even in some way. It doesn't necessarily need to be, what we talk about, obviously, but something better for the game, for the community, really. But I find the user interface, once you're in the game, very jerky. The item shop and stuff like that, not that great. It's confusing. And it's a combination of how many items there are, but also their itemization and how they present it to the player. So that would be nice to see a change as well. But of course, not everything's bad. The Infinite Crisis has done a lot of cool things. They do have a huge meta. They have some nice achievements, lots of rewards and stuff like that. You'll see right now they are doing a promotion for the early mode, which is get ready for PvP matches. So you got to play 4 of 20. And then I think there's also when you play, you gotta get 10 superheroes or supervillains unlocked, and that also gives you another perk. And you see their daily progress and stuff for achievements and whatnot is a ton. So just play a bunch of matches on Coast City, which is their main outlet right now, pretty much your main game mode. And you unlock Batman. So if you play 10 matches a week, you get some in-game currency and stuff like that. But even further, obviously, they do have a deep achievement system. I guess deep is a little much at the moment. They have levels of these as well. So you'll see here, this marks it's repeatable. This is different levels of what you can earn. They did just launch Rank Play, which is now live. I am not in any way, shape, or form ready for that. I would need to get these 20 matches under my belt, which I played more than 20, but because of the resets, obviously not there since launch. Pretty much their amplifier system is really one of the biggest things they do. It's to me a deeper like rune system for the LOL fans. Of course, I haven't played LOL super deep in recent ages, so they may have redone their rune system quite a bit since I last took a hard look at the game. But again, one of the things I mentioned is they have this universe. It's really unique. Obviously, it's DC. It's completely theirs to play with, and I feel like they just mine it ever so slightly, like with like a little toothpick for mining or something. That they could go a lot farther. You could go, Marvel Heroes has the motion comics, which they don't have to invest all this time making an in-game cinematic. It's a lot of art with some extra After Effects. And for those Marvel Hero fans, I'm not by any means belittling those things. If you watch Instant Gratification, that I absolutely love the motion comics in that game. But also to the other end is Strife, which is trying to build a MOBA, which actually just sold to a different company, trying to build a MOBA based upon lore and telling a story and having a more accessible game. So there's got to be in-betweens or a mix of things that could really mine the DC universe in a way that incorporates those stories with play, rather than just go beat each other up and don't worry about the fact that Batman's fighting along Joker. Yes, there's a reason, but let's actually have it be presented in some way. That being said, I'm going to jump into the game and get some matches. So we are going to do Coast City, and I'm going to go into solo. And, of course, their queue is nice and smooth nowadays. It is no longer a long queue, which we had some problem way back in beta. But it hasn't been a problem recently for Infinite Crisis. Still a problem for some of the games that are featured on MOBA Monday. Mainly what we do in our off week, if you will, choice. Sometimes we come across those queuing problems, which is very frustrating.